On late 2023, there was an incident regarding a certain would-be, or rather wannabe, author who went by the name Cait Corrain. She was implicated and later confirmed to have created fake accounts on the website Goodreads so she could, quote, review bomb other authors. And for those of you who don't know what review bombing is, it's basically giving really bad reviews and ratings of certain books, especially if they're online. But the thing is, she did it in a way that would demean and basically prevent other authors from having their books published, or at least make their books actually good enough to be read. But even worse is that she deliberately created fake accounts and targeted people who would be publishing around the same time that she did, as she was supposed to be a debut author with her book Crown of Starlight that was supposed to be popularized on that particular site as well. But unfortunately, the moment she got caught, instead of, taking responsibility like an actual adult, she instead kept making excuses along with trying to cover her tracks like a coward. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised she managed to make it this far. If the sources I read or from what I heard is correct, she actually had a good book deal and her book was apparently considered good enough to be made into a potential movie, and yet somehow she thought it was a good idea to ruin other people's careers before they got started. And normally I don't make these kinds of videos because I try to be positive, or at least educational in a sense that I can help others through my videos. But in this case, I just had to put it up, especially since I told the story to my dad and he was the one who encouraged me to make a video about it instead of just posting. So I figured, why not? So here are the list of things about Cait Corrain that I really hate, especially given how I myself am an aspiring author and want to write good stories that can be read by people, but apparently there's always going to be that one person who wants to ruin other people's careers before they get started. So Cait Corrain, she's an entitled, self-centered, idiotic, and reckless, horrible person who has no idea what she's doing, or rather, she does know, but she doesn't want to admit it. Like, she somehow thinks she can get away with ruining other people's books by rating them poorly so she could get all the positive feedback and attention. And even more ironic was that the people that she review bombed were said to have been her friends. So yeah, really showing your two-faced nature there, girl. Not to mention she's a complete imbecile who has no idea how to actually cover her tracks, as she somehow thought it was a good idea to Photoshop a Discord channel where she made up a fake account for some person that she was clearly sock puppeting as, named Lily, who supposedly was the true culprit, while Cait was apparently innocent. But even then, their conversation on Discord was not only very fake, but if you look closely, she didn't even Photoshop it properly to the point where she couldn't even get the time right, as it clearly showed that discussions were put together from discussions created yesterday or today, which doesn't make sense at all. Not to mention, when she tried to deflect the blame, she was more focused on herself or what would happen to her career rather than the careers of others, which is definitely a red flag if I've ever seen it. And not to mention, she even tried to drag Star Wars into this work. Supposedly, she was part of the Star Wars fandom, but the thing is, she claimed that her friend Lily was from that fandom as well and was a bad person even before. But the thing is, the actual Star Wars fans, they actually came forward and revealed they had never heard of Lily, which basically undermined Cait's claims of how Lily was a real person. Yeah, but that's not the real reason why I'm angry at her. No, the real reason why I hate her is because she tried to use autism as an excuse. And I mean, keep in mind, I myself am autistic, but even so, even I can't believe that she would use autism as a way to basically deflect the blame and act like the victim when she's clearly not. I mean, you would think she would try to come up with a more decent excuse, but apparently that was the best she could come up with. Even if she did have it, that does not mean you get to use it as an excuse for her behavior, as you are still an adult and you need to take responsibility. And also keep in mind, Like, some of the people that she review bombed were people who happen to be, quote, people of color. And the fact that she's white does not help her case at all. And even other reviewers pointed that out, but apparently she didn't consider that to begin with, which is really annoying, if not infuriating. And of course, there's also the issue of how if her comments, along with her actions, would not only have made herself look bad, but she would have also made the book publishing company she worked at look bad, especially given how fragile the reputations of certain companies can be. So, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed burning those bridges. And Cait, if you are listening to this, I really hope you don't end up writing another book ever again, or better yet, just don't get published at all, because let's face it, if anyone deserves to not have their dreams come true, it's you if you're willing to do the same thing to others.